Hello, how's it going? It's me, Hazer. I'm back again and ready to haver one more time, getting back in to the SPL season. And yeah, we've got a little bit to talk about today. So let's just crack on. Let's just get on with it, no fucking about. Sorry, I probably shouldn't swear at the very start of the YouTube videos. I think that's pretty bad for the algorithm. So hit the like, subscribe. For all of you who never make it to the end of the videos, never subscribe. Anyway, let's enough of that. Let's talk about what's going on. Layers will not be playing for the Titans this split. This is the twit longer he put out. He said, I wanted to talk about the upcoming split and why you won't see me playing this weekend. I've been struggling over the last couple of years with anxiety, and it's gradually been getting worse over time as I kept pushing it back to play competitively. Over this past year, almost every set I've played, I've had terrible stomach issues that were caused by my mental distraught, as well as intrusive thoughts throughout the year that has made it very, very tough on me to keep focused. It's also made practice tough because some nights I just could hardly sleep, whether that was because it was a day before a big match or content day. I'm really bad at reading things. To add to this, anytime I travel, I get extreme anxiety about leaving home. I struggle immensely from being away from friends and family, because up here I feel like I have more of a social life compared to being in Atlanta. In Atlanta, there's no work-life balance for me. It's just work, and more work, which, to be fair, is the job. And I know a lot of players sacrifice just as much, if not more, nodding towards out-of-country players. I spent the last month during the break between phases back home with friends and family. It's been great for my mental health. Ultimately, not moving back to Atlanta because it would be bad for his mental health, and he's decided to make it the priority, and he's stepping down as jungler for the Titans. So yeah, let's get the obvious bit out of the way first. I think this is a good decision by Layers if he feels this way. I think a lot of people will struggle to empathize because you're like, he's doing a job that's really awesome and that I would love to do, and things like that in competing in esports, but everything becomes a job at a point, and everything has trade-offs, when you've got to move away from home and work really hard and put hours and hours into the game and are unable to see your friends and family, that takes a toll on you. And I think that, when you're struggling this much, it's the smart thing to do to let it go. I guess it's like a personal anecdote. It's kind of the reason I'm not a coach anymore. Is because when I was working and coaching at the same time, I was just miserable. I just did way too many hours. And it stops being fun. That's what I would say when you're having a bad time. And good for Layers. I hope he stays around in the Smite scene. Maybe jumps in the SCC if he can play that from home and still enjoy it. And he talked about maybe doing some MetaFi coaching and stuff like that. So we'll see what he does streaming wise and things. But yeah, good for Layers. Overall, horrible for the Titans. The Titans, I'll get rid of that. Anyway, the Titans, I think Layers, I remember I went on the backliners after Layers first got kicked off the Scarabs, and I was like, I don't think he'll get back on a team, and Barrow was the same. And I would put my hands up and say I was wrong, and the Titans made a great decision picking him up, in my opinion. I think he's been like the perfect role player for them, and has seemed to just comport himself exactly as he should do. Really, I think proved everybody wrong on all of his detractors wrong anyway. I think he did a great job on the Titans. I think he was really important for the Titans. I actually think he's probably their most important player, just because of how much of a role player he is. He does so much for that team. Like every game, they'd all be picking whatever they wanted to pick, all the fun stuff, and Layers would just be there like, yep, okay, we have zero pressure anywhere, grab me Erlang, I'm gonna run around and try and do things for the first 10 minutes of the game while you're all farming. I think Aurora does it to a lesser extent, but Layers really did. He played all the meta stuff. He made up for the things at which other players in his team want to do. So Cyclone and Paul really want to farm up and play late game. Paul doesn't really contribute to the first 10 minutes of the game, and Layers just was like, okay, I will be the what do you call those in America? A plaster. You don't call it a plaster though. A band-aid. I'll be the band-aid over my team's flaws, you know. And I think that means it's going to be hard for them to replace him. I think there's not many players who do role playing that well. Role playing is probably a bad phrase to use there. There's not many players that, will sacrifice their own comfort and their own ability to play the game and do what they want for their team. And I think Layers definitely did that for the Titans and did a really good job of it. So let's talk about who the possibilities of replacing him are. Within the SPL, you'd probably be looking at Sam. He's only just joined the Scarabs. I think it's probably unlikely that he'll leave. Kierme, the Valkyries have finally kind of settled down. Again, I do think the Titans are a better team than both the Scarabs and the Valkyries, but it's difficult to change teams, especially with like all the pain of moving house and stuff like that. And I don't know how the roster locks work as well. I know that I probably should have looked this up. I wonder if we can. No, probably not. I wonder if we can look it up. Someone might know, but I wonder if the roster locks are in place for SPL teams now, and they can't get somebody from another SPL team, because it's very difficult if you have to make those changes. If you're forced into it by another team, it can be tough. And the just moving house between splits is really complicated and a pain, because you don't want to be living in a house with another team when you're playing for a different team. It just makes it difficult for everybody. And then I guess options outside the SPL, who are you looking at? I think a lot of people will be saying like Adapting, but he's living in Europe. He doesn't have a visa. And I think he just started university, I believe. He's been streaming a lot and stuff like that. Maybe they would ask him, maybe he would try, but I think it would probably be difficult just because of the need to get him over there quickly with a visa, which is hard to do from Europe. NA, maybe someone like Oath. I think, had, is this common knowledge? I think he had a tryout. Yeah, he even played in the SPL, right, for the Scarabs at one point, so he's willing to try out. Maybe he's the top one that you would consider. Sino is always one that comes up, right? Is he busy with college? We didn't think Baskin was coming back, but he's back. And another one that always comes up is Leon. Nobody ever really, I don't know. To be frank, I don't think he's good enough, but maybe he could be. He definitely would put the hours in. So yeah, possibility. I do know that they scrimmed with a certain player who is not one of these that I was pretty surprised by. So if that comes to pass, I'll just say it would be exciting. It would be a good exciting thing, I think. But yeah, I won't leak it. I'll just tease it. I'll just be a dick. I'll just tease that I know something you don't, and that'll be it. And you can all guess down in the comments below. I won't tell you if you're right. Don't spoil it if you do know, though. Not cool to do that. You get people doing that sometimes. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it for the Titans jungler situation. So I was thinking what we could do is maybe just hop in game and do our gosh darn predictions for the week. Let's see if I can. Is this going to be hella zoomed? It is. You know what? We'll fix it. This works, right? Look at that. Beautiful. We're doing it live. Okay. These are the matchups from this week. Smite Pro tweeted out that it was an 11 a.m. ET start, but it is 1 p.m. I was like, thank God, I don't finish work until 1 ET. And often I couldn't even sneak away. You know, I often have meetings like 12:30 to 1, or that I always have a meeting 12 to 12:30. So yeah. Anyway, Warriors versus Levi's. Who have I got in that? Levi's with their new solo laner, Haddix. Warriors, I gotta vote against Warriors. Until the Warriors prove me wrong, they're terrible. And I know they've proved me wrong a little bit, but not in the regular season. They still suck, let's say it. Titans versus Bolts. I'll give it to Bolts. Bolts tend to adjust to new metas pretty well. Normally they're grinding the game super hard. Will be the first time we get to see Bastion. Oh, fuck, I forgot to say. What if Salt goes to jungle and Benji goes to solo? Sorry, people are probably screaming in the comments already. Also a possibility. I think that might be the best option for Titans, by the way, is Salt to jungle and Benji to solo. Why do I don't write notes properly? I'm so bad. I knew I'd forgotten something. Anyway. Yeah, I think that's the best option. If Benji was willing to come play, I think that would probably give them the best shot of competing. I think Scots is like a really good player, and he plays so much of the game that he could probably adjust to a new role. We'll see, though. Anyway. God, I've made a mess of this. Dragons versus Scarabs. I vote Dragons. Oh, I should say, these are best of threes, right? Let me confirm. It doesn't say. I think they are best of threes, though. Are they? Or are they best of fives? Surely, I don't care. Whatever. Anyway, Levi's, let's just work on the assumption that they're best of threes. Levi's, 2-1. Bolts, 2-0. Dragons, 2-0. Kings, 2-1. Give the Valks a game. I like how I'm like a dedicated Warriors here, but the Valks have been like much worse for much longer, and I'm like, they'll get a game. Levi's versus Titans. Let's stick with the Levi's. And Bolts versus Scarabs. Let's go Bolts. Oh, there's another game. A sneaky one at the bottom. Make sure and catch that 2nd of October. Ooh, Dragons versus Kings to finish off the weekend is pretty tasty. Let's go with... let's go with Dragons. Dragons 2-1. These are my predictions. Levi's, Bolts, Levi's over Warriors, Bolts over Titans, Dragons over Scarabs, Kings over Valks, Levi's over Titans, Bolts over Scarabs, and Dragons over Kings. But yeah, that's it, I think. Make sure and be here this weekend for the SPL. It'll be fun. Friday, 1 p.m. ET, 6 p.m. BST, 7 p.m. CEST, 5 p.m. UTC. What's the Pacific time? 10 a.m. Pacific? 10 a.m. on the west coast of the US and Canada? Maybe. I don't know. I'll see you then. Whenever then is, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.